really wish that YouTube would actually get this feature with their whole webcam capture thing actually fixed, guys, because it's kind of annoying when I want to try to prep to get this going, and I literally have to hit start record and allow it to take my webcam, all that kind of stuff. Um, you'll have to excuse me and give me a couple of seconds here, guys. I haven't done a vlog in a while, so I don't. That's the funny thing when you're gone for a while, you tend to lose your rhythm. You don't tend to remember how to do certain things. So forgive me if I don't seem enthusiastic or I'm trying to find myself. I'm trying to be a tad bit quiet because people are sleeping in my house, and also B, um, I've pretty much am very exhausted actually. After I'm done doing this video for you guys, I'm going to probably end up going to bed. But not before at least, like doing a couple of things here and there. Gotta say though, on cam, I do like that this is forming into this. I don't know, I may end up shaving all this off, guys. Like, you guys can let me know what you think about that, just out of personal opinion, if you want to see me, like, try to grow all this fully. But I've always been more, like, partial to this. Anyway, we're not here for personal grooming tips and stuff. Um, I actually, guys, have a couple of things to get off my chest. A lot of personal things that I'll probably have to tiptoe around, but for the last couple of days, even close to half or almost a full week, I haven't really kept count. A lot of stuff has been going on at work, a lot of stuff work related that has not been too great, guys. There's essentially the place that I work at, the grocery store, that I try to vaguely reference just because of the fact that they have third-party people that actually try to find stuff like this or stuff on Facebook that instantly try to find any like keyword matches and try to link it to stuff. So I don't reference the store that I work for by name. I try to avoid using people that might be attached to it, just so that way it doesn't get back and it makes me look bad and it's bad PR. And not only that, but it's unprofessional and stupid if you think that people aren't gonna find out you're talking crap about them or anything like that. So I tend to try to keep it at least a little bit professional, leave names out, but still talk about stuff that displeasures me, as we all do with our workplace, but just a little bit of tact. Trying to be a little bit tactful. But recently, the store I work at, we now, because I live in the Maryland area, guys, our Maryland area has now been transferred also to PA. We're now technically PA. And the new district manager, since we are part of PA now, has he basically has come in because basically we got transferred to his district because of the fact that they're trying to, up there at our headquarters, our company headquarters, are trying to shuffle things around, try to get certain districts that are failing to rise to the occasion and are apparently, even though our store is one of the better ones, that we are shifted to PA to try to help some of the stores in, like, York and stuff try to mend. And our new DM is purposely trying to ruin our store, try to make it like his main store in York, mainly because he does not like, the main manager at our store, my boss. Everybody's boss, of course, but you get the point of what I'm saying. Doesn't like a lot of the people in management, doesn't like me or a lot of the other people. Well, actually, I haven't really flown on his radar, but I imagine he won't like me just because you guys know my personality. You know that I'm a very confrontational person, and I'm very pig-headed and I'm very stuck in my ways and my beliefs. But that's causing no end of stress for our main manager, so not only him, but us, and even him telling us, obviously, since he is the boss, the main manager, that now we're being. Part of me wants to vulgarly put it as slave driving because that's what it's felt like to me. But a lot of that is because of the weather too, guys. I mean, we practically skipped spring and went straight to summer, at least in my personal opinion. But it's also the fact, guys, that we're all working together to try to keep our store maintained because somehow we've had the electric company hold out on us in getting, because we're building a gas station at our store. We are building a gas station because now a lot of convenience stores, grocery stores, etc., are now starting to own their own gas stations, build them, um, just to compete with the market, something majorly extra for customers. So I've been working to the bone to make sure that everything, you know, within my area, since I'm general services, you could say, even though I'm the cart guy, I'm also technically general services, so it's trying to make sure customers walk away happy, but it's also trying to make everything look good, ooh, excuse me, for when this gas station opens up. And it's killing me, guys. It really is. I mean, you're talking about going in 70, 80 degree heat for 2, 3 hours trying to make sure that you help every little old lady. You come inside to clean up every little spill, make sure, everything is swept up, which isn't a bad thing. It sounds like I'm complaining just to complain, but I have to maintain that on a much more regular basis than I do, shall we say. Like basically, even if a rose petal falls to the ground, or somebody purposely drops a toothpick or a straw or something, I have to sweep that up instantly. Like basically making sure that it's spotless is what I'm saying. Like every facet of that area needs to be like squeaky clean, baby's bottom spotless, which realistically, guys, can never happen. It's never going to happen. Whether you're doing work at home or you're at your workplace doing stuff like I do, general sanitary work and stuff, it's never going to stay, clean. It's never going to stay, spotless. It's physically improbable for that to happen. But this is what we have to do, apparently. Not just myself, but everybody else. And everybody's just working, they're doing the best that they can, and basically everybody's getting flack for doing their jobs. Told that they're not doing it the way they're supposed to, and rather than being shown, being told how they should do it. Big difference. If you show somebody how to do it, it's one thing. You can debate methods. But if you tell them how they're supposed to do something, that's to me a bit of an ethical problem because you can't just tell somebody, well, I want it arranged like this. Especially when you don't work in that department. I'm sorry. I'm going to make a generalized statement, but it's true. Most people in management, unless they've worked in the specific department that they're trying to tell how to do things, they don't know crap. They don't know crap. And most of these people come into a corporate job coming out of a university, never having probably ever held a real job. And I say most of them, not all of them. Some of them did rise up the corporate ladder. But it seems nowadays most business leaders are people that are fresh out of college or have run Fortune 500 companies, etc., and now they want to retire on the backs of doing small businesses, etc. This is bad business. At least in my own personal opinion. It's bad business because what's the point of that? What's the point of getting your degree, in business. You run a Fortune 500 company for a while, you get bored, and then you want to take over a small business. Not exactly a sound plan for life, if you guys catch my drift. But there's that, we've had like I said, we had the electric company holding out on us, to try to check the electrical grid to get our gas station its grand reopening, etc., and so forth. So it's just no end of stress at work, guys, between me having to deal with the weather and trying to make sure I got a sun hat, make sure I got sunscreen, make sure, excuse me again, that I'm authorized to wear shorts, which I don't really see that they can say anything against me wearing shorts at this point. But just making sure I'm stocked up on water and Gatorade and stuff like that, guys, and trying to take care of myself. I mean, there was, and I don't stop. I come home now and try to get myself into the mode where I come home and I try to do writing. Well, I've had to drastically cut down my writing personally for myself, but also I'm having trouble writing now for the past 2 or 3 days because of the stuff at work, but it's also personal stuff, guys. A lot of personal matters, stuff that does involve my family or certain facets of my family that I won't get into. Not anything like, ground shaking, guys, but just a lot of like personal worries on my part. And also, guys, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. I realize that I'm 27. I'm almost practically nearly 30 years old. It's like the realization, guys, has finally hit me that I'm almost practically middle-aged by this point, or like in the early parts of being middle-aged. My mindset is different, guys. My goals are different. Everything about me has shifted. The paradigm of stuff I used to do has pretty much shifted. I used to play video games nonstop all day, every day. I don't play Xbox all that much. I don't, even when I play Marvel Heroes, or like DC Universe Online, I don't play them for very long, guys. I probably play them like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at best, and then move on. I get bored of them, or I just get exhausted because I'm staring at the screen nonstop. I'm also worried about, a lot of mounting health problems. I mean, guys, I'm like 30, 40, almost 50 pounds overweight. And I'm starting to become very self-conscious, not because of my weight, but just because of what that implies. A lot of it is analysis paralysis, guys. You guys know me. I tend to overthink, and I tend to not really, what's the word I'm looking for? I tend to not always think in the most positive of manners when it comes to these kinds of things. And I've been going back on St. John's wort, guys, because it's like I can't deal with the depression and I can't deal with the anxiety. I can't deal with the stress. It's making me very irritable. It's making me very angry. People are noticing that I'm getting very, agitated. But doing this comics work is very stressful, which, and it's not a bad kind of stress, guys. It's a good kind of stress. I like it. I like the challenge of it. I really do. It's been the most fun part of it. And for those who don't know this, or if I haven't covered it, which I'm pretty sure I have in the last couple of vlogs and stuff that I've done, just little fun things I've tried to do. I have a comic. Oh man, I cannot stop yawning. Darkest Night #1 is actually, available, guys. If I didn't talk about it, then I'll reiterate it. Yeah, Darkest Night #1's out, guys. You can buy it from Indie Planet, the physical copy. The physical comic you can get for $4.99. The digital you can get for $1.99. And if you want to get a special sketch cover variant by J.W. Sims, the plotter and artist, and the guy who generally made Darkest Night from the ground up, he will, if you contact us through the Hooligan Alley Comics or Hooligan Alley Productions Facebook pages, which are linked, or you can type them in and find them through Google or on Facebook itself. He will actually do a sketch cover for you guys for for an extra fee plus shipping and whatnot. But it's any character that you want. You want him to sketch Spawn on the blank sketch cover, he'll sketch Spawn. You want to do Daenerys from Game of Thrones, he'll do that too. It's essentially any character that you want him to try to attempt. I would say go Star Wars because he loves Star Wars. Just a suggestion, guys. But I getting back to the main focus and topic on hand. I'm trying to make this very, very cheerful, but I'm also trying to be very serious with this. It sounds like I'm tired, guys, because I am. I've exhausted myself and I've stretched myself thin trying to do this stuff with work, taking care of, personal, like family matters and stuff, and trying to write, guys, to the point that I wore myself so thin that at one point I just physically collapsed on my bed. I collapsed on my bed and I figured, well, okay, I'll take a short nap. I'll probably end up sleeping an hour. I fell asleep, guys, for 3 or 4 hours. Let me reiterate that for those of y'all who are sitting there shocked. Yes, I was asleep for 3 or 4 hours. That's not a good sign, guys. That's very bad. That means that my body has been very malnourished of sleep. Not only that, but stress has made my muscles, guys, so tense that I almost practically cry when I stretch because I've been so tense. I can't help but be tense, guys. I can't. And so I've been taking a lot of steps. Like I said, I've reduced my writing to the point that I'm taking it slowly, guys, because I'm one of those people that when I have it in my head that I want to get something done, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to just spend hours on end, crafting and doing that stuff. And, I'm used to doing an hour, 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 if I'm really pushing my luck. But guys, I'm trying to go for like 4.5 hours. You can do the math that I'm not being smart about this. And I was talking about this not only with with J.W. Sims, but also another writer friend of mine, two others that I connected with. Um, One of them, I can't pronounce her last name, but just call her by her nickname, Panda Dash. Um, Very bright, very vibrant, very cheerful girl from Australia. And she does way more than I do, guys. Like she's got 8, 9 projects. She's like contacting 18 artists, and she has like a horse ranch down there in Australia, and this and that and a lot of other stuff. So she's one of those people that she likes a heavy workload, otherwise she gets bored. Which I'm fine with. I'm a light loaded guy. I'm a light loaded kind of guy. Not because I'm lazy and procrastinate, but just because I'm not a good multitasker. So I like to focus on one thing at once, guys, and get into that. I mean, I don't mind multitasking a little bit, but you get what I mean. I don't like doing like a severely big heavy load. I like diversifying and regulating what I can be able to do, especially if I have deadlines. Like currently right now, guys, I'm working on a press for Oni Press. I have a pitch for Oni Press that I'm working on, which isn't due till June 20th, but I want to try to get it done as early as possible so I can send it in. And then I've got a side project that I'm doing with a lot of other aspiring indie creators, a big collaborational project. So I've been actually editing the document for that and trying to whittle that down, tweak it to where everything makes sense and it looks like an actual comic script. Because right now I got it completely in prose form, like unpunctuated, ungrammar checked, etc. So I'm little by little trying to tweak that, guys, where it actually makes sense. But I've mainly, guys, been watching a lot of YouTube videos, mainly a lot of Markiplier, Blasphemous HD, because now another YouTuber that I like to watch is Blasphemous HD. But I also like watching, Jacksepticeye and, you know, Bob and Wade. I don't watch Bob as much, MyScrum, I don't watch him as much, but I do like watching Lord Minion 777, Wade. I love watching their stuff, and it's always great to listen to Jack and Mark's vlogs, because, that's kept me smiling, but it also gives me a chance to see people that are passionate about stuff that I'm passionate about. Not like they're passionate about comics, but just, it's the drive and the passion to want to do something good, to want to try to help people in some kind of way. And I really respect that because I want to try to help. I think as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I have so many different potential ways, guys, to actually help people. It's just a matter of applying myself and figuring out the best way to want to spread or convey my message. And it's very funny that I procrastinate or am lazy on a lot of things. But when it comes to comic writing, I'm slowly breaking out of a shell of I need to do this, I want to do this. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. I referenced many years ago, but I'll reference it here, especially for the new people that don't know anything about me. Growing up with Asperger's at 5 or 6, I was bullied and picked on and isolated from my peers because I was different. Reading a lot of Chris Claremont's X-Men helped me kind of deal with that. And then, after a while, I stopped reading comics. I lost faith in comics, guys, because it was right around the 90s, obviously. A lot of people lost faith with it in the 90s. But it was also the fact, guys, that after I quit reading comics, because I thought that I was going to die, that I slowly realized that I was going down a very dark path. I went through a lot of dark times in my life after I stopped reading comics. Um, this included, a lot more increased bullying. It started realizing and eventually figured out that I actually hereditarily got, clinical depression. There we go. I didn't want to just say depression because there's many different forms of depression, guys, that medically exist. Um, just like autism or diseases or anything else, depression comes in many different forms. But hereditarily, I got, clinical depression. And I'm one of those people that I don't get medicated for half of the stuff that I have. This is a personal choice that I made because if I'm going to fight it, I'm going to fight it on my own terms. You know, I, Medicine, guys, my belief is that it doesn't always cure everything. You're free to disagree with that. I'm not going to knock people that say, well, Steve, medication has helped me with this and that. Yeah, that's fine. We all have personal choices that we make. My personal choice is I'd rather deal with my depression on my own, on a home front. Whereas, a lot of people want to take medication for it, and I'm fine with that. I respect that. I might not understand it by my own sense of logic, but I can respect the decision that, okay, you feel you need a little bit of extra help, that's fine. Um, and I was glad that eventually, years later, like last year or so, or even 2 years ago, that, I was introduced to St. John's wort, because that's like it's an all natural, basically herbal way of promoting a positive attitude and dealing with some symptoms of depression. So it's an all natural way of taking it, guys. So it's like I'm technically on antidepressants, but it's like natural antidepressants, not like heavily medicated kinds. Um, but I went through a lot of dark times. There was even my alleged suicide attempt, and there were many other things that followed. And then I eventually got back into comics, and slowly I still went through depression, but I felt like I had a purpose to go on. Had a relationship that ended up failing. Best friend moved away from me, but somehow still we are in contact with each other. And very slowly, guys, I didn't think about it until I've had all this time to really think about stuff recently, and especially with my change in focus and wanting to professionally break into the comics industry, being an aspiring comic writer. It didn't dawn on me, guys, actually, how many friends and how many people have stuck by me that, unlike when I was younger, I lost contact with or was abandoned by, until this point. And it's amazing to me that I have such a social circle that I do, and that's ever expanding, that's ever growing. I'm meeting people that are other writers, people who are artists, but mainly meeting people in general. And even though I'm not going to schools and talking to kids like I really wish that I could, I will always try to find, guys, some way of telling my story. I will always try to find some way of promoting my message. I will always attempt to try to always find some kind of way of getting myself out there to you guys. I mean, I'm gonna, I mean, I'm, as the kids today, God, I make myself sound like I'm out, like I'm old when I'm not. But like some of the cool kids say today, I'm keeping it 100. I'm not holding back, guys, or at least for the most part. I mean, I hold back if I need to, but you get what I mean when I'm saying I keep it 100. This is who I am. This is who I choose to act like, which is basically myself. What you see in front of you, however vulgar or sexualized, etc. Well, not sexualized, but you get what I mean when I put that out there. Basically, everything that you see in front of you is not, it's not an act. It's not a facade that I put on, unlike when you see me in the YouTubers core videos, trying to act tough and this and that. But no, I want a very real, intimate moment here with you guys, to where you at least actually see, behind the mask, that there is a very vulnerable person. There is a very emotionally fragile person. Somebody who has seen and been through some stuff that he never wants to go through again. And reciprocates that to people, whether he really cares for them, or people that he sees so much talent or potential in, and is optimistic that they can change the world or help the world out like he wants to. Um, I'm not going to specifically point this person or try to go too much into this, but there was a situation at the beginning of this month or last month where I had a sit down with somebody. Well, I say sit down, but it was something through Facebook. But I went back and forth with this person, and I told them that I saw that I saw great potential in them, and that what they were doing, their self-destructive behavior, was going to be their downfall, and that it shouldn't be. And it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black, guys, because I've, for the last couple of years, had a very self-destructive attitude. I still do have a self-destructive attitude sometimes. I try not to, but it's just looking back from 2007 when I graduated high school up until now, this year, I spiraled downward and downward. I felt like I was giving in to what a lot of naysayers said. I got really depressed. I kind of got very lost and I couldn't find my way, guys, for about 8 years. That's how long up until now I've been out of high school. I lost my way, guys. I lost who I was because I didn't believe in myself, number one, and number two, I did not know what I wanted to do. The funny thing is, we all, when we're younger, we want to graduate high school, and we want to be an adult, we want to be all these things, but when it actually happens, you want to be a kid again. It's a funny reverse psychology. And that's where it kind of became true. And there is still some truth to it, but I think also as I'm getting older, I realize that, being, a much older adult, being almost at that middle-aged point in one's life, and somebody's like, well, 30's not middle-aged, Steve. Well, in my over-exaggerated mind, it is. Just bear with me on that thought. It's not a logic meant to make sense. But the main point that I'm getting at, guys, is that I realize that I have a little bit of wisdom and a little bit of life experience that I would love to share with kids. Kids that went through the exact same stuff that I went through at elementary school age, mind you. And I'm sure that there's a lot of parents out there that have kids on the spectrum or otherwise, and not even on the spectrum at all, that are very scared for their kids, especially seeing all the stuff with bullying being on the rise, and it very much upsets me when I see kids and even hear kids act like they have nobody there to listen to them, nobody to care for them, and some of them become self-destructive because they don't want to believe in themselves and nobody else is there to pat them on the back and tell them that it's okay. And it's some kids come from broken homes, some kids come from perfect families, some kids go on to become something better, some kids don't. And I emphasize don't, and I paused and hesitated there, guys, because that was not me trying to gather my thoughts. I did that purposely because some kids have left this world by their own hand. I don't think I need to elaborate how strong that statement is. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. If you need to have it explained to you, then there's a problem. Just there's so much negativity in the world, and there is so much like anger and hatred. The stuff that was going on in Baltimore, all these, school shootings and just shootings in general, all this malice and this hatred that we as humanity have towards each other, it's mind-boggling to me. I often make the very crude and callous joke that, I used to be a pessimist for so many years. I used to be so angry and bitter and hateful. And it seemed like the more I tried to be upbeat and optimistic and positive like I am now, like the more that hate transferred out of me and went to other people. It's kind of funny how the world was all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts when I was depressed, miserable, and not wanting to be on this rock. But yet now I'm older and I'm starting to appreciate even the littlest of things, and the world around me is burning. It's dying in a fire. There is something wrong with our society. It's not so much the government. The government is part of the problem, but I'm not going to get into the politics. I don't like politics. But it's something wrong with our society, guys, where we have stuff happen. Bad things. Things that should not happen in the first place. A guy going on a rampage against women and then killing himself. All for what? For what? Because women rejected him because they said no? I've been rejected dozens upon thousands of times. Does it make me mad? Yes. Do I condemn women for that? No. I just think that they're being extremely shallow and, move on. I've moved past the immature, juvenile, oh, well, she's, you know, to put it, in PG terms, to try to keep this somewhat kid friendly, it's like, oh, she's promiscuous, she gets around and da 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 da. Instead, for me, it's just like, okay, she's a really shallow girl with a very, crappy personality. Like, that's just become my aged mindset, guys. I'm slowly getting to a point to where I don't let little things take over my life as badly as they used to get. Like, there is still a lot of stuff that bothers me. I'm not going to say that it doesn't. But I try to tend to not let it bother me so much, unless like it's something that I feel very absolutely strongly opposed to, or feel or that I feel needs to be addressed because it's a problem. You know what I mean? But I've sat here, guys, being unable to write. I've sat here exhausted. I've sat here, in these walls, in this place that is my room. And all I've been able to do, guys, is contemplate where everything went wrong. See, when I went to Baltimore in September, I had a fire lit under me. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. I became inspired, guys, and I figured out what I wanted to do. And even though, yeah, I'm 27, I'm starting late, technically, I also have to ask myself, what do I really have to lose? And yeah, Darkest Night #1 is woohoo, it's not much of a debut. But it means so much to me, guys. It means so much to me because I'm slowly trying to make my way up the ladder to pay comics back for what comics has done for me. And it's also very satisfying to me, not because I made a whole lot of money off of it. I only made probably $3-4 off of it. Hold on, I gotta take a drink of water here. My throat's getting all dry and scratchy. Throat was getting all dry and scratchy. But I only made $3-4 in total payback as the writer of that. Um, it sucks, and a lot of y'all are like, "Oh, that's such a waste of your time, Steve." I don't expect to make big bucks. You wanna know why? Because I'm a noob. I'm new to this. I've only got one thing published. I went in with the expectation of I'm not gonna make, cha-ching dollar signs in my eyes. No. Do I want to make money off of comics? Yes. Would I like to make a little bit more than a couple of scroungy bucks? Yes. Does it make me a hack and that I only care about the money? Not really. I want to make money in comics, but I don't want to make a lot. I'm not I'm not like those greedy writers that you see where, they only do it for the money and this and that and a lot of other stuff. No. Guys, I got into comics because it was something I was passionate about. It was something that I loved. Why would that, even years later, change? Hell, right behind me here are two giant ass totes full of comics. Behind me, off of this camera, right where this Dallas Cowboys locker is, are totes filled with Marvel Showcase Presents black and white reprint books and, Marvel Essentials books. Underneath my bed is dozens of graphic novels and trades and stuff. Downstairs, probably below my feet, and probably like a ways back, if I'm looking at the geography of my house, two bins full, one full of trades that I could not fit in these bins, and the other single issues of comics. Single issues of comics that I've had since I was a kid. Those same comics that I fell in love with at 5 or 6 years old. I still have them. I still hold on to them. So, guys, comics has evolved from something I loved to something that became a collectible hobby, a collector's market hobby, something I still am passionate about, something I still love. And now I'm slowly trying to get my way into that. And on top of that, guys, I'm now taking a course through the Smithsonian um, for the educational program edX called The Rise of Superheroes and Their Impact on Pop Culture. I'm now taking an online class that if I pass it, guys, I will get a certificate signed by Dr. Michael Ushlin, the executive producer for the Dark Knight and Tim Burton Batman franchises, Stan Lee, the art, the actual art of the certificate. The certificate itself will have artwork done by Phil Jimenez. Dr. Uslin's son, David Uslin, will also have his signature put on there, and then a couple of instructors, from the Smithsonian. Some of their pop culture history, instructors. So basically, guys, I'm taking an online class. I'm writing a pitch to Oni Press since they're having open submissions till June 20th. I'm working on an indie collaboration. I got Darkest Night #1's promotion that still needs to be done. I just recently wrapped up an interview that I was actually given the link to, so got that out, and then I'm hopefully, and I'm pretty sure that I have, got my cut of the pay from sales, the very minimal sales, and going to be helping, possibly doing PR for Fall from Grace, which is Hooligan Alley Comics' second title release. And I didn't stop and think about it, guys, till I looked at all this, and it's like, I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot of work, for comics. And the funny thing is that, oh, Well, you're doing something that you love, Steve. Does it feel like a chore? Does it feel like a job? Yes. Does it feel like it's an overwhelming job? No, it feels like a fun, it feels like that it feels like that one like cool summer job that we all wanted, like whether you're working in the ice cream shack or this or that, like that one cool summer job that we all loved, that we wanted to always do full time. That's what basically writing comics is for me. Currently, it's both a hobby to part-time job. Especially with the promotion, with doing the, classes for edX. It's like just doing stuff related to comics in general is so much fun. Is it infuriating? Does it make me feel depressed? Does it make me, shout in anger at my laptop and a whole other spectral range of emotions? Yes, but at the end of the day, and at the end of each session or workload that I have, I'm always going to bed happy and relaxed and smiling because I am one step closer to becoming a pro, one step closer to maybe okay, now that's just getting obnoxious and annoying. Getting one step closer to wanting to get my name out there and get something that I created out there in the hands of people. Darkest Night #1 is the only thing that I have out there right now with my name on it. And the possibilities now for me, guys, has become endless. And for me, it's not enough. It's like I've done a lot to where I can be proud of myself, but I'm always looking for that next plateau, guys, that next challenge, that next, okay, it's not enough. I need to do more. And that's maybe where I've killed myself a little bit, but at the same time, it brings a certain sense of joy and responsibility as well. And in a good kind of way, guys, in a very good way. So, but I'm going to wrap this up. I did not expect to do a 47, 48, almost like 50-minute video, rambling on. I just wanted to get a lot of stuff that's been bothering me as of late off my chest, but I also wanted to, give you guys a lot of updates and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed me giving you an update. I actually feel tremendously better now that I've talked about or briefly talked about a lot of this stuff. Um, but I'm going to, looking at the clock now, it's like 11 o'clock over here on the East Coast. So I am, and all, and also my throat is really dry from talking too much. And also on top of that, I keep yawning, which is a clear-cut sign that my body is telling me that I need to go to sleep. So I'm going to wrap up doing a couple of other things, guys, and I will see you all when I do the next vlog, whenever that is. And currently, right now, guys, for those of you who follow Marvel Universe 2K14, my last fan fiction titles are slowly, week by week, and even eventually at one point are going to be featured on that site. So for those of you who love 2K14, you'll get to see my last works before, and these were all works that were prior to Darkest Night #1. So hopefully you'll read them, you'll somewhat enjoy them, and I hope that you'll appreciate the time, for those who follow 2K, the time that I put in there for my tenure. It's not goodbye, guys. It's not goodbye completely. in terms of 2K. I am still part of the chat and stuff like that. So for those of you who are aspiring, writers, and you want to start with, 2K and write characters and interact with me and all that stuff, I will be in the 2K chat. I've at least, earned my merit to be able to be there, and also I feel like it's a good place for me to be there too, because when I meet a lot of new writers, especially ones that seriously want to break into the industry, I feel like even though I've had very minimal experience, I have enough that I can tell them, hey, this is what it's going to be like. And it's also very gratifying to see not only Chris, the Mount Vernon kid, and of course, Jay or Mr. J's comic reviews and so forth, not only actually tell me, like, how proud they are of me as friends, but it's a good, family sense to feel like I have my secondary or, third type family, telling me, telling and encouraging me, that, hey, you're the first of us to actually do this, dude. It's like, take full advantage of it, do it. And when I was connecting with another writer friend of mine, because I never did name the second one, his name is Tyler Carpenter. Tyler actually is very optimistic, even more upbeat guy than me. He had basically told me, it's like, look, dude, if you miss your opportunity, you miss your opportunity. He goes, I understand that you want it bad enough. He goes, I understand that you feel like you wasted a lot of years and you want to try to play catch up and this and that. He goes, but dude, don't kill yourself to do it. And that's my advice of the day, or, of the video, if you will, to you guys is, follow your passions, follow your dreams, but follow them smartly. Don't spend every waking hour trying to kill yourself to get it done. But don't take too long in doing it either. Strive for balance, guys. Especially those of you who are first-time writers like I am. Take it from the guy who's now trying to resituate himself, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. Find your center and try to stay as close to there as possible. And with that, guys, I will shut out the vlog. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you were able to tolerate a lot of my rambling. And with that, guys, I will see you whenever the next vlog is. Oh, crap, I forgot to hit stop recording. There's a nice little unedited blooper for you guys. Hey, at least it ends on a happy note, right? And at least the video does end with me kind of smiling and laughing at myself for being an idiot as usual.